Hi, welcome to the Price Action Analyst YouTube channel. This is just another request for Vuzix Corporation. Stock code is VUZI. VUZI. I haven't looked at this before. I don't know anything about it, so I just want to preface this analysis by saying, I won't be able to there's some price action that I'm not really going to be able to add any value to. So this goes back to 2010. These are weekly bars. So this was an uptrend, if you like, and then it kind of started poking through it 2018, and then it broke outside and failed and pushed down fine, and then you're starting to see interest in this here with the volume spike, and so I'm just trying to frame up the downtrend. So when it broke out of this uptrend, it formed it was downtrending, and then you could frame up that downtrend, if you like. So price is definitely, whether you frame up, that's the longest time frame I can frame up the trend. These are weekly bars. We'll have a look at daily in a second, but it's definitely broken out, and it's broken out on a volume spike, which is good. It's tried to push higher, it's failed, and these wicks should have acted as support, and they did, and it's pushing higher. So that looks good on the weekly bar for price to keep pushing higher. I just like to look at where this low is too. So this was a low, and it was tested again, and then so this call it 167 level, doesn't have to be exact. Call it 170, whatever you like. It's acted as long-term support, and even when price pushed out of here in a downtrend, when it got down here, look at the buying you had off of that. So this is a big positive. This is a positive now that price has washed this low, and again, that low is 76 cents. So if this is a viable company, then we can assume it's not going to go to zero. So that wash of these pivots and the strength off of that, and the fact that it's low price wise, this is all positive for this price pushing higher. So now that I've framed it up and I'm looking at these lows and what's happened, this is very bullish price action to me. So I'll drill down into the daily bars in a second, but here's your next level of resistance here. So here was your first level of resistance, and you can see it has acted as resistance. You've got selling pressure off of here, you got push up into it, wicks, retracement, and now price is going to test this again. So that would be my target. Again, it's not just going to leap up here necessarily, but this is the high probability direction of price. Even if price kind of does this, this is if I had to bet where it's going to end up, I would say it's going to do that before it just collapses here and pushes down. And it's based off of this strength, which is supported by the volume here. So let's just have a look at daily bars. just make this. This is off this previous high here, so this concerns, the gaps always concern me. It's a form of error, and price will always want to fill that. So that concerns me that it hasn't been filled. It doesn't mean that price is not going to push up. It's just I noticed that. But you know, this looks more like the level here, because this was the push up, and you got, this is roughly a 50% retracement. There's wicks here, so you had an idea the retracement was going to be around that level. It's pushed up strength. It's come back here. It didn't quite wash this, but that's exactly where you would hit the long, is the retest of that, which is there. So anywhere within this wick here, you might have been just sitting there waiting to get long. So 2.1, and it worked. And then, so you had another push up, and you would have expected weakness here, and so shallow retracement, and now we've got strength again. So this candle here from 286 to 329, that is going to act as resistance, and you're seeing that already. But I don't think that's gonna stall this. Yeah, that's not a substantial wick because the body's bigger. I'm just trying to think what you could expect off of this. So these are half-hour bars. So this is Thursday. So let's just assume that the market, we're in an open market. So this was a closing bar, but let's just assume it's whatever time in the market, and price is, you know, this is an active market and price is active. Where would I continue this? Where would I expect price to go? I would expect off of this wick and this weakness, I'd wait here. So just bear in mind, I'm just trying to I'm trying to explain how I think about this in terms of what I think price is going to do. So let's assume that we're very short-term trading, because these are 30-minute bars. I think this wick here is going to act as support, and you have this trend line, and you have the strength up, but the buying pressure is kind of substantially down. So I would expect price to cycle down here. So if I was very short, if these were futures, I'd probably have my buy entry around 270. And I could either sit there with a buy order, or I could wait for price to cycle down and then make one of these. Doesn't have to be this big, but I'm just waiting to see substantial buying pressure. So it's when it doesn't matter where I see the buying pressure. When I see the buying pressure, then it's time to get in. But what normally happens is price will cycle down here, and then you'll get the buying spike. So this will, I was going to say this will probably play out on Monday or Tuesday when the market opens, but you just don't, like, the market could gap up or whatever. But I'm just, so the point is, if price is kind of, let's say we're talking about the next open day and price opens here and it starts heading down, just wait, just watch it, wait to see what happens here, wait for the buying pressure, and then get long. You know, if it gaps up, I would wait for a bullish engulfing bar to make a close above this line, and then an open above it, or price to push above that bar. And normally I look at 10-minute bars for stocks. So if price opened here and it closed here in the 10-minute bar, and it opened and it started pushing higher, then I'm not going to wait for price to come back here. I'm just going to hop on board, and that would be, it's a big difference. It's 3.1, but that's how I would play that. So if you've requested that, though, I've got to assume that you're in it already. And so, well, I guess you could have bought up here, who knows. But if you bought down here, I would just hold it. So if you're already in this, my upward premise is up here. My projection or expectation is up here, so I would just hold that. And it's funny that you give me the other request to look at this now, because this is around the area that you would get long, because you normally get a breakout and then a retest, and I'd hit that retest long. It's higher probability for a retest and then a push than it is for a price to just push out of there and not stop. But you've seen that here. Here was your trend line. See this push out? It hasn't. It doesn't look like it's going to retest that trend line. And again, it could. I see this pushing up, but it could, because price always likes to, not always, but it likes to, when I see that gap, I'm concerned, because price likes to fill those. The whole price discovery process, it likes to come in there and doesn't like to leave gaps like that. See if I can find you an example. So that gap there is likely to be filled, right? This one here. It's taken a very long time, so but even if price comes up here and spends this amount of time up, and then eventually comes back here and fills that gap, you're still, you don't want to ride that out if you can help it. So this air here, see, this air works similar to a gap. That air here, it rockets up, but price likes to come back and test that air. It doesn't like to leave this air untested. It's very hard in any liquid market. It's very hard to get an entry where, say, I get in here and price just goes up and it never comes back and tests my entry again. It's very, very hard to do that. People, when they look at charts, they see that. Everyone's looking for a place where they can get in and their entry point's never tested again. It's extremely hard to do that, especially in the long term. But I, again, if for very, I don't want to say very short term, let's say medium term, you buy here, I would buy here around 270 whatever, and I would have my exit at, say, $4 or $5, and then you exit and then you just wait and see what happens. Or you can hold it, but like I say, price, it doesn't like to leave these unfilled. But I think based on this that it's gonna get here before it gets here. But there's no guarantees in this game. It's just based on the strength that I see, I think that this is the high probability event. So anyways, I hope that's helpful. Thank you very much for the request. Please like the video, please subscribe, and please follow me on Twitter. It's @PriceAnalyst. And if you know anyone that you want to forward this to, or just want to forward it in general, please do that. Thanks very much.